Aries, welcome to your monthly forecast for September 2023. So, I am going to walk you through all of the energy that you will be moving through for the month of September. So, coming into the month, you have been now for a while moving through a lot with your money, your finances, also your relationships because of this Venus retrograde here in Leo and Venus ruling your second house of money and finances and material possessions, also your values. And Venus also rules your seventh house of relationships, close personal connections, partnerships, business partnerships. So coming into the month, you've already been moving through this Venus retrograde affecting these areas of your life, but now you have your chart ruler Mars in the seventh house of relationships. So this month, there is going to be a lot of focus on your relationships, on your close personal connections, business partnerships. Now, what we want to watch for with this Mars in the seventh is anger, aggression, and conflict. Depending on if you have a day chart or a night chart, will determine how this energy is expressed. For example, if you have a day chart, Mars is your most malefic planet. So Mars can bring separation. Mars can bring severing and conflict, aggression, anger. So we do want to watch for that. Now, once we get to September 3rd, we have Venus stationing direct. And so, whatever you've been moving through already with your money and your finances, there can be something coming up at this time. Now, also keep in mind that we're moving through that ongoing square to Jupiter. And so, this isn't necessarily bringing on anything new. This is something you've already been moving through with your money and your finances. Something can come up at this time, whether it is, Venus stationing direct can bring clarity, but Venus stationing direct can also bring something new to the table with your money, finances, and material possessions that you just want to be mindful of and aware of. Another energy that we are moving through is this ongoing Mercury retrograde. Mercury stationed retrograde in Virgo August 23rd. And so when we come into the month, you have this energy in the sixth house of health, work, and daily routine. And so having Mercury retrograde in the sixth house can have you rethinking your routines in some way, whether it is your routine at home, your routine at work, whether it is a new nutrition routine or health routine. Mercury retrograde in the sixth can be where you are really rethinking, new things to implement as far as your health, as far as your nutrition. This can even have something showing up at work that can be confusing, where there's possibly paperwork you're not understanding or something you are having to redo at work. And that is what Mercury retrograde in the sixth can bring. And also just you rethinking, new routines, which is something we all kind of move through during Virgo season. Once we get to September 4th, we have Jupiter stationing direct. This is happening in your second house of money and finances. So again, there's something coming up here with your money and finances, but you've already been moving through this energy. Jupiter stationing retrograde is a really interesting. Now, I will be posting a separate video on this if you would like to check that out. But this Jupiter retrograde is interesting. If you think back to the end of April, beginning of May, we had Mercury retrograde in Taurus right over this exact same spot in your chart. Mercury stationed retrograde at 15 degrees of Taurus and moved back to 5 degrees of Taurus, which is where Jupiter will be moving back to 5 degrees. Jupiter will be retrograding over that exact same spot, 15 to 5 degrees of Taurus. So if you think back to the end of April, beginning of May, if there was anything that really was presented to you around with your money and your finances or even your values in some way, you may be revisiting that for the rest of the year, because Jupiter will be retrograde until December 30th. So you may be moving through something. There can be insights coming in. There can be opportunities coming in for you between now and the end of the year when it has to do with your money, finances, and your values. On September 6th, we will have the Mercury Cazimi in the 6th. So for the first week of September, we're moving through this energy of Mercury combust. You have this happening in your 6th house. And so whatever's really showing up for you around work, health, and daily routine, work routines, there can be a lack of clarity for the first week. Now, when Mercury forms, when we have that Mercury Cazimi happen, there can be some sudden insight coming in, some sudden clarity of the direction that you want to take with these 6th house themes and topics. On September 14th, we have the new moon in Virgo. This is in your 6th house again. So the 6th house themes and topics are quite prevalent for you and prominent throughout the month of September, as well as the relationships and the money and finances. You are thinking about implementing new routines. And so at the time of this new moon, September 14th, this is really a great energy for you to implement something new, to set some new intentions for work, for your health, for your routines, for your anything you really kind of do in your day-to-day life. So new work routines, new health routines, new home routines. This is the house of routines. This is also the house of pets. And so this is a time where, if you've been wanting a dog, this would be a great energy to actually manifest a dog, which is quite interesting. Now, this new moon will be forming a trine to Uranus. So we do want to be, the interesting thing about this energy too is there can be some sudden insight here with money and finances coming in, where maybe you're getting, this can actually be a beautiful energy to set intentions, to make money, to implement something you want, set an intention for something you want to start to do day to day. Introduce something into your day-to-day routine that can eventually make money with this energy, which is quite beautiful. If we move forward to September 15th, we have the sun form an exact trine to Uranus. And so this can bring in sudden insight. This is a day where we want to be watching our intuitive downloads, intuitive messages, because Uranus is the great awakener. Now, Uranus also rules the electrical systems and our nervous system and our body. So this is a day where we can be a little bit anxious. We want to watch for that. This is a day we really want to be grounding. Now, if we look, there's almost this grand trine energy happening with Pluto. In fact, there's almost this kite configuration with Neptune and Pluto, which is quite interesting. Now, doesn't necessarily mean that all of these houses are activated with this. What this does mean is that there can be energy coming up for transformation, especially when it has to do with you, spiritual transformation, because the apex of this kite configuration is Neptune in your 12th house of spirituality, subconscious beliefs, patterns, and habits. This can be a time where you are really becoming aware of your subconscious beliefs, patterns, and habits, and maybe where they have been affecting your day-to-day life. If we move forward to September 16th, we have Venus form that square to Jupiter retrograde exact. And so, as I've been saying, this is something you've already been moving through. This is where something can be activated here with relationships, with money, because Venus does rule your house of relationships and your house of finances. So on the 16th of September, we do want to watch for anything showing up for you, coming to your awareness that has to do with finances and that has to do with your relationships. So you can just note that date down. But again, this is something you've already been moving through. So it's not like this is something really coming out of the blue. You've been moving through this energy already. And this is where something else may just show up with whatever it is you've already kind of been moving through. Now, I also want you to start to watch this Venus and Mars, because Venus and Mars start to do this interesting dance where They don't exactly form an exact sextile, but they come quite close throughout the rest of the month, which is quite interesting. Once we get to September 19th, we have the sun form that opposition to Neptune exact. So again, this can just bring a little bit of confusion, lack of clarity when it has to do with your routines. There's something here where there's balance required. This would be a time to really tap into your intuition. Now, at the same time, we have the moon opposing Uranus. So this can feel like anxiety, anxiousness. We want to watch for panic attacks this day, September 19th, if it's something you already struggle with. But what this can be beautiful for is intuition, spiritual work. So September 19th is a really good day to be tapping into your intuition and doing spiritual work. This would be a great day for manifesting. On September 20th, we have the sun forming a trine to Pluto, which is, again, we can really be drawing in some beautiful psychic energy with this configuration. We're still even in that kite configuration too. So this is just really beautiful energy to be drawing in personal power, psychic power, developing psychic abilities, doing intuitive work, enhancing and expanding your intuition, really focusing on the self, because the sun is who we are on a soul level, and doing this intuitive work, we can really be manifesting our desires, our dreams at this time. So I really wanted to just bring that to your awareness, because it really is a beautiful energy to be working with. Now, once we get to September 23rd, we have the sun entering Libra. So we start Libra season. The sun enters your seventh house of relationships, partnerships, close personal connections. So the sun's almost adding more energy here to whatever you've been moving through with your relationships. There's more focus on your relationships, but the sun is bringing a light into this area of your life. Now, whatever has shown up for you up until this point, the sun can be bringing clarity. The sun can be bringing guidance. The sun can be bringing in insight. So listen to your intuition, follow your internal guidance with whatever it is that you're moving through at this time when it has to do with your relationships, your close personal connections. On September 24th, we have Mercury in Virgo form a trine to Jupiter retrograde in Taurus. And so you can receive some information on this day around your money and finances. This would be a day to even possibly think of new ways to make money, because Mercury rules communication, reading, speaking, writing, our mind, our mindset. This would actually even too be a great day to implement a new mindset around finances. I know it sounds really funny, but to be completely honest, money is on a certain frequency, and we have to have that money and that finance mentality to really, bring in the abundance. And, do your research around this too. There's look up Billy Carson. He's a really good person to watch. If you struggle with money and finances, watching him, watching Dr. Joe Dispenza, and really getting the information on how to get your mindset to a certain level, where you can start to draw in abundance. This is something that could be beneficial. This is something that could actually, if this was a journey you were on, or if you were researching this could be a day where something clicks, if that makes sense. So yes, this is a day where you could hear something about your money and finances. You could shift your mindset around money and finances in some way. Now, Mercury also rules your third house of community, neighbors, neighborhood, siblings, cousins. So this is a day where those themes and topics can be front and center as well. Once we get to September 28th, we have Venus forming that exact square to Uranus. And again, this is nothing new. This is an energy that we have been moving through for a couple of months now. So anything that you've been moving through with your money, your finances, your relationships, you want to be aware at this time that something can be showing up for you. September 28th, whatever you've been moving through, something may come to the forefront that you are having to address, that you are having to work through. And then on September 29th, we have the full moon in Aries at 6 degrees and 0 minutes. So don't pay attention to this degree here. The full moon will be right here in your first house. And so this full moon is lighting up your first house, which has to do with you, your personality, your character, your physical body, how you view this physical reality. And those themes and topics will be very front and center for you coming out of September. I hope that this helps you move through the energy and move through the month and navigate the month with everything that we are kind of moving through. There is a lot of sticky energy, but hopefully with this guidance and awareness, you can move through the energy with more ease. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will connect with you in the next one.